Hello, and welcome. It's a Donger deck discussion. That's from the Dongers of Runeterra. My name's Sith Holocron, and I'm one of the three owner people type thing. Anywho, that's regardless of what we're doing. A Donger deck discussion is where we pick brand new decks, brand new cards, brand new things, and with this Thursday, as in a couple of days away, I have made decks for every single new champion. And the first one that I'm going to go with is the immensely, very scarily health and attack orientated Zoe. And Zoe, if you're a fan of League of Legends, a lot of people were really happy with that she was going to be here. And it's going to be amazing. And, you know, she is a Targon-esque wonder child. Okay. Is she going to be good? Well, I think so. Her level up is pretty easy. You play 10 different cards. She levels. Okay, so I am on, as you can see up here, I am on a site called Out of Cards, and that is me. I will have to change that. That's absolutely not me at all. So I have decided that much as I love Leona, because Leona is cool, I also, one of the first decks I did when Targon came out was build a Nocturne Diana deck, and I loved it, and a lot of people have played it and stuck with it and made it better, and thank you to the people in my Discord and all that sort of stuff who have probably made that a tier 1 deck. But that's in the past. But I think that Diana, because you can play her so early, you can Nightfall her really easily. It's pretty decent. So this deck is going to be Zoe, and it's going to be Diana, and a whole ton of Nightfall. So this is Nightfall Zoe. So let us go and have a wee look. I haven't actually used this thing yet because, number one, we don't have the cards. They're not out. Today is Monday the 14th. It's out in 3 days. And I will be doing another video tomorrow and another video tomorrow, the day after that for Wednesday, and we will have decks ready to go all over. So, apologies if this is a little weird looking compared to my other ones, which were all built in game, but this is to get you ahead of the game. This is the whole idea. I will leave it up at the ends as much as I can here. The principle and the basis of this deck is incredibly simple. I want a lot of different cards, maybe not as much as like Subversible, where you're doing, I need to cast, like 20 or whatever it happens to be cards to get this uber beast of a card down that automatically wins you the game. Way too complicated and slow in almost every meta so far. So here we go. We're going to start off with the 1-drops, and we have 3 1-drops, 2 of which are already out. So if I hover over this, it brings it up just here. So Lunari, oh, don't be silly now. You were being really cool and groovy. Oh, don't be daft. Okay, we'll do it like this. Okay, so Lunari Duskbringer. So when I'm summoned, create a Dusk Petal Dust in hand. Okay, that's pretty decent. Okay, so that allows you to drop your next card for that's Nightfall that costs 1 less. That's brilliant. Added which it sets you up to play that as well, and you get your trigger, because Nightfall is any card after card played number 1. So after you've played a card, everything else that has a Nightfall trigger will trigger, and that is fantastic. Now, as I was building this deck, I went through several iterations of this and decided that probably the best way to win with Zoe. So let me actually find Zoe. So here is our new champion. And I'm actually going to click Zoe all together, and then we will come back to it. So here she is. Let me get rid of this silly little advert. Zoe is an elusive 1/1. When she strikes the Nexus, we create a super cool star chart in hand, or if you have one, so say you've already hit it, then it reduces its cost by 1. That's okay. Her level up is, I've seen you play 10 cards with different names. So, how easy is it to get 10 different cards in Runeterra right now before this patch? Very simple. It's called invoking. And invoking came with the Targon package, Call of the Mountain, and you can just choose loads of different things to get things out with. You will see in this deck there's an awful lot of 2s and an awful lot of 3s, and there's 1/1, and it's to get as many separate cards as we can. So after you've played a Dustbringer, and a good thing to do would be to play a Spicy Sketcher, costs 1. It's exactly the same stat line as Zoe. Play, discard a card to invoke a celestial card that costs 3 or less. What I haven't told you guys is that this is the cheapest mana cost deck to play in Legends of Runeterra I have ever made, as the biggest card costs 4 mana. You will be able to level up Zoe as long as you can try and keep her alive. And we have a few tricks in this deck to try and make sure that that actually happens. Added to which, it's also like an allegiancy kind of deck, because we don't have an awful lot of cards not from Targon. So, to be honest, I think it's 37-3. But let's get back into this. So, Spacey Sketcher, invoke a celestial card that costs 1 or less, and then we are running 2 of a brand new card called Spell Thief. It's a burst spell, costs 1. Pick 1 of 3 enemy spells played this game and create a copy in hand. Now, this is great, and I almost want to run it as a 3 of, but 2 is enough, because you're going to get, especially against decks that aren't Targon, spells that will be very good because it's in your opponent's deck. But more importantly for Zoe, and ironically for Diana, you're going to be able to then cast these. It's probably better to play this in the mid-game, as it only costs 1. And you should then be able to get maybe even something that costs 3 or 4 and play it. So you can maybe get Excited's Mystic Shots, you could get Absorb Soul, you could get like the health buff things from other things, Elixir of Iron, Flash Freezes, Harsh Winds. You could get a whole ton of stuff from here, and you get to create a copy of it in hand. It costs 1 to steal a spell. That's pretty good. It also helps setting up Nightfall things, which helps also Zoe and Diana. Now remember that Diana only needs 4 Nightfalls to level up. You want to play her as a second card, so I like to try and get her, I mean, in an ideal way, if you can get Lunari Dustbringer out round 1 on defense, be attacking on round 2, you can actually drop down this to get Diana out for 1, which makes her a challenger that round, and you have done your first Nightfall of the 4. It's very, very easy in this deck to level up Diana to being a 3-3. Our 2 champions are 1/1s and 2/2s, which is why we're running 3. As we normally do in most decks, that's kind of the battle, you know? But we're not looking at something like a 3/6 Thresh, or, you know, a bigger Trundle type thing with a lot more health. You know, even Fiora is a 3/3. These are 2/2s, 1/1s. So we're going to need an awful lot of units to supply not only Zoe's level up conditions, but to maintain board presence. So with that in mind, if there's a Nightfall thing here, 3 for Lunari Shadestalker. I went with this one because it's an elusive character that will combine really well with walking straight through your opponent's lines. They will have to do something with it. And the fact that she's a 2/3 for 2 mana is fantastic. And that is why we are running 3 of these amazing things. I'm going to have to test it out. Obviously, none of the 3 decks, you know, are top drawer just yet. Not yet. But this could maybe get swapped into something else. could possibly get swapped into something else. Then we're into Pale Cascade, one of the very best 2 mana drops in the game. Give it 2/1. You know, if you're going to be hit by a 1 damage spell, and there are lots of things that do 1 damage, that will kill off Zoe real quick. Mystic Shot will also do 2. This won't even save Zoe, but this is mainly to keep Diana alive, because Diana's pretty damn impressive when she becomes leveled up. The fact that she can then become like a 5/5 champion with quick attack and challenger is horrendous for your opponent in any types of things. So we're doing 3 Shade Stalkers and 3 Pale Cascades. There's a new card. This is, I like this, okay? But again, I'm only using it to kind of be a cheap-ish thing. It has lifesteal, which I think is just fantastic, because it's probably the only way. You know, Pale Cascade helps a unit. This will help your Nexus. It's only going to do it by 1, though. It's there as a chump blocker. It has 2 health. You know, look at it. It's not really the most ferocious thing you're ever going to see. It's a butterfly sparkle, see-through weird thing. But who knows? It could be really good. If it's not good, I will replace it with something else. Do not worry. I would maybe even put in one of the 2-drop Daybreak cards, and put it in there, because at least it stays like a 2/3, which would maybe be a better thing. It's the same cost, but it comes out as like a 3/6 instead of a 3/2. Don't know. I want to try new cards. I'm a deck builder. I want to try them. So as of right now, untested, we're running 2 of these. And then we have another new card. So far, we have got Spell Thief and Zoe, and we've got Sparklefly, and then we have Starry Skimp. This looks interesting for lots of reasons. So, for instance, we have put down a Spacey Sketcher. You've got a Celestial card. He costs 2 less if you have a Celestial card, either on the board or in your hand, which means Starry Skimp costs 0. He's a 0-cost 2/2. That's brilliant. And added to which, we have a lot of ways far past Spacey Sketcher to make sure that we never, ever, ever have to pay 2 mana for that, because we like to invoke things, which will then put extra things down or give us spells that helps level up Zoe, etc. You can see where I'm going with this, right? I genuinely hope you can see where I'm going with this. We'll scroll up a couple more. Sunblessed Figure. Not very in the meta right now, but the fact that I can make Zoe 1/3 is fantastic, and I genuinely think I may go to 3 of these just to try and keep Zoe alive, and I may drop the Unspeakable Horror down to just 1, and I may even take out the Crescent Guardian, but at the minute this is theory crafting in my head. So Sunblessed Figure is a grant, so she will stay a 1/3. It costs 2. You can see all over here how many, look at all of this. That's a lot of units here. Unspeakable Horror is in here because it's another Nightfall thing. Drain 1 from anything. That would kill our Zoe. But you create a random non-champion Nightfall card in hand. This is literally to try and make things better. So we have a lot of Nightfall-y kind of things in here, including 1 Crescent Guardian. As a 3-cost, 3/3, he's well statted, but 9 times out of 10 he's going to come out as a 5/3 with Overwhelm, which is pretty good in an awful lot of, say, like Diana Nocturne decks. Brilliant. We're only running 1 of these. And I mean, there are bits of me that want to completely get rid of this altogether because it's from Shadow Eyes. But these cards are all. I adore Sunblessed Figure. I think that's a fantastic card to put on our champions. Diana or Zoe will love an extra 2 health that they can then trade off against a 1-1 or a 2-2 or 2-3 and stay alive, especially when your opponent has no mana. And Unspeakable Horror is okay as it drains 1 from anything, so that's getting rid of your Teemos, that's getting rid of all these horrible little things. Any elusive kind of things that they've got out there is pretty damn decent and very, very cheap. Crescent Guardian, we have just talked about, will 9 times out of 10, again, like Diana, come down as a Nightfall card, because you can maybe play a Duskbringer, and then you can put this one down for even cheaper if you've got some spell mana, which is all kind of good. And then we have another new card, and this time we're going to run 3 of these ones, because I think this is fantastico. Like, I think this is brilliant. Welcome to this incredibly cute Giddy Sparkyologist. It has a play effect that if you have a Celestial card, which is what we're trying to get here, grant an ally 1-1 and Spell Shield. Does that sound familiar to anybody? You know, does that actually sounds real familiar, that you grant an ally 1-1 and Spell Shield. I wonder what spell that could be. You're getting a 2-2 unit, and if you've got a Celestial card, you are beholding one. So on the deck or in your hand, you give Spell Shield and 1-1 to one of your champions. That's it. This helps your champion all the time. So at any time that you can get a Spacey Sketcher to do what she needs to do, to give you something, that will then Starry Scamp reduce cost. Okay? We've also got Lunari Priestess as a 3 of. If it's Nightfall, it's bumping up Diana. You're getting to invoke something. This is all fantastic. It's all fantastic because everything from here on in essentially allows you to either Nightfall or invoke all the time. Giddy will do what she needs to do, which is essentially just go, here you go, my man. Be happy. Be safe. The first spell that you now hit against my champion does nothing. It just pops the Spell Shield, and I've already got 1-1. Perfect. Lunari Priestess, a utterly random evoke. Horrifically bad stat line. We don't care. We only want the invoking. Mentor of the Stones. We're running 2 of, simply because you get 3 gems in hand. Added to which, fire that out and put Diana or Zoe beside it, and they are now a 3-3 or a 4-4, which is keeping your champions alive. Do we need 3 of these? No, we don't. I'm happy getting, genuinely happy, in my head theory crafting, that for a 1-1 and Spell Shield, that for a 2-2 because it's being supported, and when it dies it gives you 3 gems. That's and an extra attack and heal 1. There's loads of really good stuff in this. And the final one, your Celestial cards cost 1 less. Allegiance Invoke. We have 38 Targon cards and only 2 Unspeakable Horrors. Because we're running 3 of these, I am now genuinely thinking that I will take Unspeakable Horror maybe out altogether. I may do this. Take out Unspeakable Horror altogether, add a 3rd Spell Thief, and a 3rd Sunblessed Figure. I think that's what we're going to do, because that's Nightfall. That triggers Nightfalls. Diana is Nightfall. Crescent Guardian is Nightfall. Lunari Priestess is Nightfall. Mountain Scryer is not Nightfall. That is. Oh, you see, this is where my head starts to hurt. Have I done this right? Have I not done it right? As it is, I am delighted with this as a thought process about where we could be. So the only two cards that we're really missing is I'm going to slowly try and bring this down. The last one after Lunari Dustbringer is the Mountain Scryer. 2-3 Celestial cards cost one less. We're going to have a lot of Celestial cards, which is why we're running 3. Also because we're invoking. If you want to absolutely guarantee the invoke, you can get rid of the Unspeakable Horror or make it down to a 1, and then probably put in a Sunblessed figure. But we are getting buffs from the Mentor of the Stones, and we are getting buffs from the Giddy Sparkeologist, who is just, I think she's brilliant. I really, really do. This is my thought out Nightfall Zoe deck. So I'll probably take it as it is right now and hope that it does okay. But as you've just heard, there are ways and means that we can immediately make this deck better before we even play our first game. I am Sith Holocron from the Dongers of Runeterra. This was my Donger deck discussion. Thank you very much for watching. A whole load of invites are in the pinned comments. Come and join us at the DOR. Thanks for watching. Till the next one. Dongers out.